2026 has been a season that's felt like destiny for the Washington Panthers. Last year, a team full of juniors made it to state, lost in the state semifinals, ended up taking third place, and came back with a vengeance this season. Well, this year is going almost exactly according to plan for the Panthers. 34 wins, just 2 losses, and the final game of this storied senior class's career will be for a Class 3A state title from CEFCU Arena in Normal, Illinois. It's Washington taking on Glenwood here for all the marbles in Class 3A. And good afternoon, everyone. Jonathan Michael here alongside Michael Savoy. And Michael, this is, again, I think you would have asked us 365 days ago where we would be in this time 2026. I probably would have told you watching Washington play for a state title. And what do you know? Here we are.
Yeah, you knew 365 days ago when they had that heartbreaking loss to St. Ignatius in the quarterfinals last year in Class 3A. You can tell in that press room after the game when we're doing the interviews with them that the juniors on that team were very determined to come back. And you knew just feeling the aura in that room that something was going to happen with this team the year after. And look at us now. We're doing a broadcast once again at Red Bear Arena for this Washington Panthers team. And this time it looks like they have a really good chance to get it done this year.
And Michael, it's just, I have to come to grips with reality right now. As someone that has covered Central Illinois sports for the last handful of years, I remember seeing this freshman group, or the senior group now as freshmen, Avery Tibbs, Becca McDougall, Danny Goodday, Mazzy O'Brien. I remember seeing them as coming in as freshmen, and they made a huge mark. And now we are watching them play in their final high school game. It's crazy, but again, win or lose, this will be the final game of this storied senior class of Washington's careers. And I mean, it's a group that doesn't matter what the outcome is today, they will be talked about and revered for generations in those hallways.
Yeah, win or lose, the legacy has already been written for this Washington Panthers team. Obviously, it would be nice to get that state championship win, but a place at state obviously is a place at state. Really good teams. All 4 teams that make it to state for all 4 classes have earned their way to Normal. And Washington has, once again, another chance to get that state championship. But nonetheless, 5,000 or more points in the starting lineup for Washington. All these seniors will be missed.
What a career it's been for them. You really can't draw it up much better than what it's been for Kim Barth's squad. A sea of orange, unsurprisingly here, making the short trip down to Normal, and probably a little bit more than the fans we saw yesterday. The lower bowl, they're a little kind of cordoned off section, completely full. You look up in the top section, the upper bowl, and about a good half of the sections in the upper bowl here at CEFCU Arena have some smattering of orange in them. It's even a little bit more than yesterday. I mean, I'd say a few thousand Washington fans, and I'm sure many more tuned in either at home. And again, thank you for joining us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Washington's fan base, again, second to none. And we knew they were going to show out, and no one is going to want to miss the final game of these seniors' careers. But Michael, this season for Washington, it started out so high. Their first game was against this exact team, the Glenwood Titans. Washington won that game 67-25, and that was a long time ago, back in mid-November. It feels like a whole different part of the season. And they've had lots of big wins since then, including 5 running clock wins in the playoffs. They've been so dominant.
Yeah, this Washington Panthers team has been dominant all throughout the playoffs as well. It's just been a fascinating watch for anyone that's watched them play.
We're going to turn it over to the public address announcer for the national anthem right back here on ClutchSportsIL.com.
Thank you. And now we ask that you please join our guest soloist, Charlotte Dean from Joliet West High School, in the singing of our national anthem.
Well, Michael, they only bring the best here for the national anthem for the IHSA state finals, and you just heard it right there. We are getting ready to play ball here again in Class 3A state championship from Normal. Again, we talked a bit about Washington, Michael. Let's take just a quick look at their opponent, the Glenwood Titans. This is a Central Illinois matchup. A lot of Titans fans, a lot of red and white here behind us as well. And they come in with a record of 34 undefeated conference champions in the Central State 8.
Yeah, this Glenwood team, obviously very battle-tested in a tough Central State 8 conference. It's a Springfield suburb versus a Peoria suburb. This is a pretty fun watch, and this is pretty interesting. You know, you don't very often get state championship matchups between two teams that played against each other in the regular season, but here we are. Both of these teams play against each other, open up their seasons, and both these teams won their seasons going up against each other in the state's highest stage.
Glenwood took down Trinity 46-35. River Forest Trinity, team from up around Chicago. So, and a few Chicago schools, but Central Illinois are really flexing their muscles so far. And how about DMAC? In case you did not see, DMAC won the Class 1A state title. We could have two state champions from Tazewell County, which, Michael, is just remarkable.
Yeah, you know, you think about, you know, the journey that DMAC was on, moving down from Class 2A to Class 1A, and they're an incredible one that we've documented all throughout pretty much the entire season into the state playoffs. And Washington, obviously, they're the ones that had fallen short last year after, you know, having a really good chance last year as well to make it to state. And, you know, this year they have an even more golden opportunity to get it done. They've never been to the state championship game, and here we are.
Washington, fun fact, played in the first ever IHSA girls basketball Class 2A state title game back in 1977. They lost that game, and they have never gotten closer since then. Well, they do here today, and a chance to make history and win their first state title ever. Washington 34-2 on the year, 13-1, winning the Mid-Atlantic Conference champions. We got their little hype video from their win yesterday over Arlington Heights St. Viator, playing on the big Jumbotron right now. Washington, a 55-34 winner. And, Michael, great games from Avery Tibbs, Kate McDougall, Danny Goodday. And really, I think that game was more further apart than what the scoreboard indicated.
Yeah, really, St. Viator had fallen a little bit short to start the game. Washington had a ridiculous start to the game, an 8-0 run, but St. Viator battled back. But Washington kept bending, but they didn't break at all. Panthers rolled pretty easily in that one, although, like you said, John, it wasn't as convincing as the scoreboard might have seemed. As
the only game where Washington hasn't won by the running clock this postseason, and they took down the number 2 team in the state, Galesburg, running clock. Number 3 team in the state, Providence Catholic, in the super sectionals, running clock. And again, you know, Michael, even though it's a state title game, if Washington plays up to their full potential, I would not be surprised to potentially see a 30-point or more margin, you know, in this game, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, we talked about, you know, the fact that both these teams opened up their seasons against each other, and that was a 67-25 Washington win, an absolute blowout by the Panthers. But like we said, John, like you said, that was almost 4 months ago. This Glenwood Titans team obviously have fallen really short of that game, but they're 30-4. I mean, they're here for a reason. They have earned their way to being state, and honestly, the Glenwood Titans want nothing more than to get their get back against the Panthers and their season as well.
And Glenwood's played a good schedule as well. They took down, or they played Morton. I think they took down Morton earlier this season, so it kind of shows you how good of a team Glenwood can be. But again, Washington, their starting lineups being introduced. It will be their usual 5. Kate McDougall, the freshman, in a sea of seniors for this Panthers squad, sitting 6 foot tall. She had a strong game yesterday. First game at state, 10 points, 9 rebounds, a near double-double. No sign of nerves from the freshman. Avery Tibbs, number 2, a 5'8" senior guard, Washington's all-time leading scorer in boys or girls basketball. Not just a legend in her school, but a legend in, you talk about all the best girls basketball players in history in Central Illinois, and Tibbs, I think, is in that conversation. 20 points yesterday, but not a single 3, which is kind of a deviation from the norm there.
Yeah, there were certain times where, like, you know, they had the typical inbounds where she inbounds the ball and gets it back, and she wanted to shoot the 3. She'd pump fake or drive, or sometimes she'd even confuse her teammates and even get some turnovers. So, you know, if you want to have a key to the game, a pretty good cliche is to not have so many turnovers.
Becca McDougall also in the starting lineup, 5'11" senior forward, playing her last game before going off to University of Illinois Springfield. Mazzie O'Brien, her her last game in the orange and black before putting on the green and white of Chicago State. A 5'9" senior guard, and Danny Gaudet, the future Valparaiso Beacon, standing 6 feet tall, a senior forward. Looks like she might be the one to take the tip-off here against Glenwood's Alexis Newman, a 6'2" senior guard. She is their key player to watch. Again, you're going to hear a lot. Newman, number 20 in white and red for Glenwood. Panthers in their road black and orange trim, little speckle there down the shorts and the side of their jerseys as well. Ava Bobb, Alexis Newman, Lane Matthews, Stella Lopp, Gemma Lamb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 seniors and 1 junior in this lineup for the Titans. We are ready for tip-off. A storybook season for Washington. Tips off one last time. Panthers win the tip. Becca McDougal up to Tibbs. Early layup right off the bat.
I feel like every single Washington Panthers game starts the same exact way. They win the tip, and then Tibbs is all on the fast break immediately, and they score like 10 seconds into the game all the time.
Not even, as McDougal comes away with another steal. That's Becca up to Danny Gaudet on the left side. Gaudet nearly lost the handle, but then picks it back out to Becca McDougal. Here's Mazzy O'Brien. Wide open lane on the right side. She converts the layup. It's 4-0 Panthers in the first 30 seconds.
Man, this Washington team can hurt you in so many different ways. All 5 starters on the court can impact you.
Washington, a team that you do not want to go down early to them. They like to jump on you, pounce on you, and just really pinch that jugular vein from the start as the Titans set up their offense. Here's Newman at the top of the key. Had 20 points, 11 rebounds yesterday. 6'2" guard for them. She's guarded by O'Brien at the moment. Active hands for Washington. Tibbs comes away with the steal, and now O'Brien goes across the timeline. O'Brien to Gaudet, posting up on Gemma Lamb, and draws the foul. Lamb, a 6-foot senior forward, commits the first foul of this one, 1 minute and 2 seconds into it.
Man, not even just really over a minute to go in this game, or that elapsed in this game, and Washington's already out to a dream start, 4-0 Panthers.
Tibbs inbounds into Kate McDougal, driving to the left side. Oh, that one went all the way around the rim and then decided to fall off to the left, and no good. Newman the rebound for Glenwood. Now over to Lamb. Those two combined for 36 of Glenwood's 46 yesterday. So going to be a big key for the Titans to get everyone involved, because we know that can happen on Washington's side.
Yeah, the Panthers on defense, and we've pretty much seen this the entire season long. We saw this yesterday against St. Viator. They really want to speed you up on their man-to-man defense, and they really want to force you into mistakes. Inbound is
Ava Bobb, the lone junior, to inbound it to her teammate Lane Matthew. Kate McDougal came in there and forced a jump ball. Gonna stay here with Glenwood, but we'll give the arrow back to Washington next time around. So Bobb to inbound off to the near side of the hoop on the left side. Again, Titans going right to left, Panthers going left to right. Deep 2 is good from Lamb, and Glenwood's on the board a minute and a half into this one. Here's Kate McDougal wearing number 1. The future face of this Panthers squad, as Gaudet feeds a cutting Becca McDougal, drove in on 2 Titans and got fouled by one of them.
Yeah, this Washington team, obviously you would think they're all seniors, so they have all experience with each other. But not only are they all seniors, you have a freshman who's playing, but the freshman is the sister of one of the seniors, so you might think that a freshman doesn't have as much chemistry with the seniors. No, one of the seniors that she has chemistry with, she's been pretty much living with her entire life. So
he had 5 McDougals, as again Becca, maybe following in her footsteps of her older sister Claire, our good friend here at Clutch Sports Media. I know she's here watching this game, was just messaging with her just even a few minutes ago. Her Bradley Braves women's team playing well, as Becca McDougal again goes 2 for 2 at the line. It's 6-2, Washington leads it. 6:08 to go here in the first quarter. Here's a drive from Lamb on the right side, out of control, lost it. Mazzy O'Brien had the rebound. She lost control. It's going to stay with Glenwood.
Yeah, that rebound was definitely all Washington's. There were 2 Panthers right by it. It was Kate and Mazzy, and they had ended up going for it at the same time. It went up both of their hands.
Glenwood inbound, this time on the right side of the hoop. Bobb looking for someone, gets it into Lamb. Guarded by O'Brien very tightly right in front of the Washington bench. They clap their appreciation. Now pass goes inside to Lane Matthew, the 5'6" guard. Her shot off the backboard of the rim, no good. Bobb with the follow though. That time is good. 6-4 Washington now.
And now Bobb has the same points in this game that she had in last game as well, only just 2 points.
Here's a three ball on the way from Kate McDougall off the mark and rebounded. Nice box out there by Lamb, and I think they're going to get G'day on the foul.
You know, we referenced that first game of the season a lot. We've done it so far a lot, but it's the state championship game. You know, you might think that Washington, you know, they've scored pretty much 50 to 60 points the entire year. It stayed. Both these teams won it, and honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it was a low-scoring game to end the season.
Usually games at state usually are a little bit lower scoring than your average game. First one to 50 might win it both every time. As there's a drive, and the layup is good and one for Alexis Newman, and Glenwood has tied it up at 6-all with 5:25 to go here in the first, and she has a chance to give Glenwood the lead.
Newman's been so dominant the entire year for Glenwood. A 6'2" guard. Not very often you see a 6'2" guard with a girls' high school basketball. Usually those are the forwards, but she's been dominant so far for the Titans.
Newman presents a little bit of a matchup problem for Washington, but again, McDougall, G'day, Washington's bigs certainly can get out and guard her. They're very agile. Free throw's good. It's Glenwood by one. Becca McDougall driving the lane, triple teamed into Mazzy O'Brien. She's double teamed, leaves her wide open. Becca McDougall off the front iron, and will go out of bounds back to Glenwood.
I do like Becca McDougall, though. John, you were saying they can go out and guard her. They're going to go out and attack her to the basket as well, trying to challenge the 6'2" frame of Newman. That time, Becca didn't shoot the ball there, but she's able to, you know, take on that challenge of attacking her to the basket.
So Glenwood has the early advantage. Again, they lost by 42 to the Panthers in the season opener for both squads back in mid-November. We were still doing some football games back then. They work it around. Here's Newman, guarded by G'day, going around the perimeter. Hands off, Becca McDougall. Nice defense, forces Lamb into a travel. This is going to go back to Washington here.
Yeah, that defense really was started by Alexis Newman, the Panther that was guarding her. She had fantastic defense. Newman was going around the arc trying to figure out a way to get to the basket. And once she realized that she was in trouble, that's when the pass went to Lamb, and that's when Lamb traveled.
Here's Washington with the ball. 2 for 5 start from the field, 0 for 2 from deep. Tibbs has not shot from beyond the arc yet, only shot one time from beyond the arc yesterday. Kate McDougall drives in. Pass over to Becca, nearly mishandles it. Skip pass over to O'Brien. She drives in. Pass it Tibbs' ankles. She picks it back up. G'day drives baseline. Now Kate McDougall. Over to Becca. Her layup off the right glass and in.
Good footwork there by McDougall. She got on the ball. She could have probably put it up where she was, but she digs her head down and gets to the right spot to the basket for an easy layup.
So Becca McDougall with 4 points after scoring, I believe, just 2 yesterday in their winning. And she's not their biggest scorer, but really fills up the stat sheet and steals, assists, rebounds, and the like. It's 8-7 Washington. Titans driving in, had it stripped away. Another steal by the Panthers. Tibbs in transition on Newman. Over the 6'2" wingspan, and the layup is up and good.
Washington at its best is when they get turnovers on defense and they go transition offense. Prime example there.
Nice spin move there from Bob to free herself up for a shot, but it missed off to the right. Rebound goes to Tibbs. She hands off. It's 10-7 Washington. Under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Next dead ball will get a media timeout. Danny G'day drives baseline, cutting Kate McDougall. Tough angle on that layup.
Oh, and that's a frustration foul there. After Kate had missed that layup, she went for the steal from the ball from the Glenwood player that had the initial rebound, and she had committed the foul. Not a foul you want to see there if you're Washington, but it's a foul that happens more times than not.
10-7 with 3:09 to go. What do you know? The Washington area code, almost a good omen here for the Panthers. We'll take a quick break and be right back here. You're listening to the Class 3A State Championship on Clutch Sports Media.
The last class of the day for my student athletes isn't English, science, or math. It's school sports, where the #1 priority is teaching, just like every other classroom. As their coach, I help them grow as leaders and become better people, preparing them for the game and, more importantly, for life. That's why the best wins are the lessons they learn, which will impact them long after their playing days are over. Encourage your student to participate in school sports.
This message presented by the IHSA and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
Welcome back inside CEFCU Arena. Washington 10, Glenwood 7 here in an all-Central Illinois state championship here in Class 3A. The second to last girls basketball game of the season in the entire state. Michael, this is the second to last game with no shot clock for girls hoops. Again, I know we've talked about it a lot over the last few days, but it's going to be very significant. I mean, just a whole new era going to be ushered in next season.
I feel like it's not going to be as significant as the game transpires, but definitely about the last 4 minutes of a game in the fourth quarter, it's definitely going to have its impact on the game. But like I've always said, John, if your offense possession takes more than 35 seconds, then you got to get your hats off to the defense. But with that being said, obviously, like you said, it is honestly going to have a big impact, as you know, it is mandated across the state next year.
Neither one of these teams has really needed a shot clock or would have incurred any shot clock violations so far here today. It's been a pretty quickly moving first quarter. Again, glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. The final chapter in what's been a historic season for Washington that we have seen so much of over the last few months. Steal for the Panthers. Kate McDougal comes away with it. Tibbs over to O'Brien for three. It's good.
That was Mazzy O'Brien right there on both ends of the court. She gets the steal on defense, and then she's able to drain a three.
13-7 Washington leads. O'Brien with 5 points. Rebecca McDougal, Avery Tibbs with 4. Here's Bob off to the wing. Pass to Nora Gummerman, 5'6" junior guard, end of the game. First one off the bench for the Titans, and an air ball there from Lamb. Pass up, McDougal. That's Kate. Just barely keeps it in bounds. Her and Tibbs play catch. Now it's back up to Kate, just outside of the Illinois State outline here at midcourt at Doug Collins Court. Here in Normal, home of the Illinois State Redbirds. McDougal driving baseline, was deflected by a Glenwood player, and he'll stay with the black and orange.
I liked what Washington did outside of that media timeout. They went into a 2-3 zone and got the steal there. Mazzy O'Brien did, and we've seen the replay actually on the board, the three-pointer she got after the steal, and it's a good job by Kim Barth to switch up the defense out of that media timeout.
Tibbs inbounds. Ball goes right back to her in the corner. We have seen a similar play so often that works so well for this Panthers squad. They're going to keep it going now. Becca McDougal, skip pass over to Tibbs. Nearly drawing a double team. It leaves Gaudet open for a three. That one comes up short. A foul on the floor. And that is going to be very beneficial for Washington, Michael, as Glenwood had a 2 or a 3-on-1 fast break opportunity.
Yeah, and really, you want to say it was really just Alexis Newman with the basketball, their star guard, 6'2" star guard. She was right there. It was just her on the basket, and she would have scored an easy layup. It's one of those instances, and one of those weird instances where the team committing the foul actually benefits.
Glenwood ball, 1:53 to go here in the first quarter. Still plenty of time left in this one. Washington leading it by 6. Here's Newman with the ball. She's got 3 points so far, and off to Bob. Olivia Osborne into the game for Washington, as is Ainsley Redling-Schaefer. Up and under layup from Newman was no good. More good paint defense by the Panthers. Kate McDougal driving in. And how about the collapse by Glenwood, always leaving a Panther open. We've seen it from almost every team. That time, it got in the hands of Gaudet. She got up and tumbled down. She'll shoot 2 free throws after that foul there, the 3rd on the Titans of this first quarter.
Yeah, that's why I believe the best offenses in basketball are the ones that, you might think, oh, threes are better than 2, so we're going to shoot threes. No, it starts by driving into the basket and collapsing that defense, and either lets you go with the layup that you could make, or you could get fouled with, or you can kick it out to a 3-point shooter, or kick it out to another girl for a basket. So Washington has a great offense for that reason.
Washington made 14 of 16 free throws yesterday. Gaudet missed her first and makes her second. So there's Gaudet's first points. Again, these Panthers, they've played here at State, but they have not played in the title game. It does help, though, having 3 games worth of experience on this college court.
It helps getting those nerves out of the way, too, that they might have had last year.
Yeah, this starting to feel like almost a second home for Washington at this point, as Glenwood, again, trying to get something going. Tight man-to-man defense that the Panthers have been in most of the game. And Redling-Schaefer going to pick up a foul there on Kaylin Yeager, a 5'11" sophomore guard for Glenwood there in the corner. And Redling-Schaefer, a very intense defender. She's going to get it all up in your grill. That time just a bit too much right there.
I think Glenwood should be shooting, and yep, the Titans will indeed go on the line. Washington committing its 5th foul.
No one on Washington, though, has 2 fouls. Kate McDougal with 1, Ainsley Redling-Schaefer with 1. G'day has a foul, and then Rebecca McDougal and Mazzy O'Brien each have fouls. So the first one is no good, much to the appreciation of the Washington Panthers student section, who's here a few hundred deep.
Yeah, this is like that time of year for Washington. Second annual time in mid-March that the Washington town is a ghost town. Everyone is here right now from Washington.
Either that or they're probably crowded around their TVs or around their living rooms, maybe even tuning in to ClutchSports.com to hear how this one will shake out. It's 14-8 Washington, under a minute to play in the first quarter. Redling-Schaefer over to McDougal. Kay McDougal driving in and spinning, trying to get open, and had some great dribble moves there, but just nothing, no mustard on that shot. It was an air ball. Glenwood goes the other way with 25 to play. Go to Bob. She drives in on Tibbs. Going to get a whistle, and Bob will shoot 2. And there's Tibbs' first foul. So 6 Panthers, all with 1 foul for Washington.
Yeah, good job there by Glenwood attacking the basket. I just mentioned it about Washington's offense being so dominant. They like to attack the basket. That's a good sign for Glenwood. Hopefully continue to attack the basket and put the pressure on the Panthers, because the Panthers have been so used to putting pressure on their opponents.
First free throw good from Bob. She's got 3 points. Again, Mazzy O'Brien, the leader, with 5 so far for Washington, who leads by 5. 14-9. Her second from Bob is up and good. Bob, a 57% free throw shooter. And, Michael, you look at the percentages of this Glenwood team. They're not quite as strong of a shooting team as Washington, and few are, but they don't really have a ton of three-point weapons, as no one shoots over 30% from beyond the arc.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup in that standpoint. If you think you're Glenwood and you don't shoot as good, you might just have to rely on attacking the basket.
Here's Osborne. Pass over to Tibbs with 8 seconds, and Tibbs got tripped. This took a tumble on the hardwood with 7.5 to go. It's going to be on the floor. No shooting foul there, and just Glenwood's 4th.
It's a good job by Tibbs. A little hesitation move, got her defender off balance and drew that foul.
And nearly 3 minutes since Washington's last field goal. Down to 3, down to 2. G'day has the ball beyond the arc. Tibbs has to force up a shot, gets one off, and it's short. Washington 14, Glenwood 10 after the first quarter. And Michael, it's still early on, but overall, I think if you're a Titans fan, you're not feeling too awful about that first 8 minutes.
No, and we mentioned it before. I think, granted this was close to 4 months ago, but Washington had beaten them by over 50 points. So you might be thinking or by 50 points. Whoa,
40.
67 to 25. I can't do math right now. But
right.
Nonetheless, it is a blowout. And if you're Glenwood and you're a Titans fan thinking, okay, this might be the same result, there's no way the game in November can impact the game in March. It's so far behind. Glenwood's such a better team, and if this first 8 minutes has any indication how the state game is going to go, then it should be a good one.
Well, Washington has also improved throughout the season too, and you look at again their record 34-2. I think if you ask Kim Barth, their head coach, she would tell you that we learned the most from those 2 losses, and those are probably the best games in the long run for us. Not saying that they played the best in those games, but they were good for them. They lost to Morton, had that tight one back in January, lost at the Potter Dome. Washington nearly came back and won, but then they also lost to Nashville, a team that we thought we might see here today playing for a Class 2A state title. They eventually lost to Breese Central in the sectional title, and Breese Central went on to win the Class 2A state title just about 2 hours or so ago. So DMAC and Breese Central, your state champions so far. Washington looking to make it 2 for Central Illinois here today.
Yeah, when you're undefeated, it kind of adds that extra pressure on you to stay undefeated and have that perfect record. So in that respect, obviously having a couple losses does help you just relieve that pressure off you, saying, okay, for one, we aren't as good maybe as we think we are. We have teams that can beat us, so maybe we have holes that we have to fix. And 2, we don't have that pressure of, okay, we need to be undefeated. We need to be undefeated. Get those losses out of the way and just have that pressure lifted off your shoulders and just focus on what you really want to do, and that's to be on the throne in 3A.
Indeed it is, and this might be the best shot that they have to do. So this senior group has played together since elementary school. I think most of them say about 3rd or 4th grade is when they've really started officially kind of playing together for the Washington Park District, and then I'm sure some of them, played even before then, and a lot of athletic families at Washington. Obviously the McDougals, you got Danny Gooday, her older brother played football, a star lineman for Washington. A couple of these other girls, all very, I think Mazzy O'Brien has some great basketball players in her family, so basketball has really been in a lot of these players' blood since day one, and it's cool to see all their hard work and all the stuff over the years culminates in this, the biggest game of their life, the 3A state championship. As it's Washington ball to start the second quarter, and they're going left to right on the side where there's all the Glenwood cheerleaders, bench, and fans. Tibbs swings it back over to O'Brien. Now Redling Schaefer to Gooday in the left corner. Gooday driving in on Lamb, the two forwards, and Gooday spins around, hangs in the air, and drains it.
Yeah, that's just a good shot there by Gooday. I mean, you cannot understate the defense there by Lamb. She had great defense, had her arms up. I mean, more times than not, Gooday's probably missing that shot, but right there, that's the Division I in her making that shot.
And Bob traveled on the other end for Glenwood. Redling Schaefer forcing that one for Washington. Redling Schaefer, a player that Kim Barr said would run through a wall, a brick wall, if she asked her to. It's kind of one of those glue girls for Washington as they set up their offense here. It's O'Brien on the IHSA logo.
They're really trying to look for Becca McDougall right now.
Yeah, McDougall had a nice start, 4 points, handful of rebounds for her so far. And an assist. Here's Tibbs. Got Becca McDougall over to Redling Schaefer. Not sure if she was ready for it. She finds O'Brien, though, and O'Brien maybe a little bit too much time in the weight room. That one was far too strong.
You said Redling Schaefer wasn't ready for it. I don't think O'Brien was ready for that pass from Redling Schaefer. It just looked kind of off once that Becca McDougall made that skip pass. And now, Washington had a good luck charm there. The ball went out of balance off of Glenwood Titan.
So we'll stay with the Panthers. Again, they lead 16-10, 6:54 to go in the second quarter. Tibbs with it over to Gooday. Beyond the arc. And so they like to kind of really set things up and then use a lot of really strong cutters that are spacing and ball movement. Some hallmarks of that team as Gooday's corner three is off the mark and Glenwood clears the rebound. Bob over to Lane Matthew. Starter for the Titans in the corner. She drove in. Deflects off of a Washington player. Here with 6:29 to go.
I mean, really the only way you're going to beat this Washington defense is if you're the aggressor on the offensive end. Washington likes to be the aggressor on the defensive end, but if you're the aggressor on the offensive end, then you can keep them honest on the defensive end.
Inbounds goes right back to Bob, the inbounder. That's kind of a similar play that Washington likes to run. Inbound the ball, pass it right back to the inbounder and have her shoot, and Bob did just that. Knocking one down from the baseline at 16-12. Tibbs sees a wide open lane on the drive. Left-handed floater is up and good off the glass.
Yeah, nice job there by Tibbs attacking the basket off of a dribble handoff. And John, she's not shooting very many threes. We know her for her three-point prowess, but she's doing everything else correctly.
Oh, and O'Brien nearly comes away with a steal. Lamb going to take advantage, pull an open three. It's off the mark, and Tibbs has the rebound. I wonder if Washington, maybe decided to maybe use Tibbs as kind of a decoy. I think everyone's going to think she's going to shoot a bunch of threes, but she's really shown off how she can shoot the two and score off the dribble. Washington turns it over. Matthew comes away with the steal. Glenwood with 5:35 here before halftime. Bob, their leader, with 6 points so far. Now with Alexis Newman. Again, just limited to 3 points so far. Had a 20.11 rebound double-double. She drives in, and what good defense there by Gooday. Went up in the air, did not foul. Forced a tough shot, results in a jump ball, and it'll stay with Glenwood.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the matchup of the game so far. It's going to be Alexis Newman versus Danny Gooday from Washington, two of the tallest girls on the court in this ball game. Obviously, Alexis Newman, probably the most potent player on Glenwood, and Danny Gooday, obviously, we know how good she's been for Washington and how good a player she is. So that's going to be the matchup of the game.
Bob inbounds it. Now it goes again back to Bob. She drives past Gooday, and Gooday might have just tipped that one from behind. It's Washington going the other way. Kate McDougall up to her sister. Layup up and good.
Washington's offense really stems from their transition game. A lot of set offenses for Washington don't work out as well as their transition. That time is another transition bucket.
18-12. Glenwood's shot is cleaned up and put back in. I'm going to get, pardon me, 20-14. That was Newman there on the shot.
Yeah, Newman using her 6'2" frame and not being boxed out hurt the Washington Panthers there. That's pretty easy for her.
It's 20-14, 4:30 to go in the second. Again, we'll have a media timeout coming up soon. Kind of a new wrinkle. Not a new wrinkle, but a different wrinkle compared to a regular season game they have here at State. IHSA has an extra chance to kind of hit that pause button in the middle of the quarter. Tibbs! Her first three of the 2026 state finals. Left open in front of the Glenwood bench. She loves that corner spot.
Great job there by Kay McDougal driving in, drawing in the defense. Avery Tibbs wide open. She's not missing that shot.
Tibbs up to 9 points. 4 of 5 from the field so far for her. Again, well over 2,000 points. Just broke Maggie Crick-Moses' all-time record in the sectional title against Galesburg. As a foul called here on the Panthers. It's going to go on foul on Tibbs, her second, with 3:51 to go here in the second. So something to keep an eye on, Michael, is Tibbs with 2 fouls.
I don't even know if you want to keep an eye on it because I don't think it really matters because Washington is so deep and they have so many girls that can hurt you. Obviously, Tibbs is one of the better girls that can really hurt you, but Washington is so deep, and obviously this is a game that they really want to win, so the motivation is definitely going to be there for the Panthers. But yeah, losing Tibbs maybe for the rest of the half, if she were to sit out, would be big as well for Washington. That being said.
23-14 is Washington's lead here midway through the second quarter. And in case you're just tuning in, Washington has pretty much been in front most of the way. Tibbs has 9 points, Osborne with 2, Danny Gaudet has 3. I'm actually not sure if Osborne scored. I don't know, there might be an error there. We'll double check after the game. We'll see if we can get the official stats. I have O'Brien for 5 points, Gaudet for 3, Becca McDougal for 6, and Tibbs for 9. For Glenwood, though, it's been Bob and Newman. And, Michael, again, with Newman being a 6'2" player, I think they need to get her a little bit more involved. But I got to give a lot of credit to Becca McDougal and Danny Gaudet for their defense on her so far.
Yeah, and I think, it's not that she's not being as involved as you may think. It's really just Washington's defense. And like I had said, I think the only way you can really beat this Panthers defense is to take that risk of driving to the basket and keeping the Washington Panthers defense honest. If you're able to drive to the basket, draw a foul, or make a layup, you're able to tell the Panthers, okay, I can do this, and the Panthers are going to be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't play as aggressive because they can drive right past us and they can make the layups at the basket. So you got to take those risks if you're Glenwood against this Washington Panthers defense, and hopefully Washington responds to being more honest.
Stat that stands out right now, Michael, Glenwood has turned the ball over 6 times. Washington has turned it over just once. They had, I think, nearly 20 turnovers yesterday, and really, as Newman, offensive rebounder, layup no good, corralled by Becca McDougal. She gets unintentionally wrestled to the ground by Lamb, who picks up her second foul. But Washington, we saw after that game yesterday, really, again, no signs of overt jubilation. They were just kind of very businesslike. They weren't really that happy with how they played yesterday. They missed a lot of layups, committed nearly 20 turnovers, so they knew they could play a lot better.
Yeah, and also another stat that stats out after that is Washington has 9 points off of turnovers compared to Glenwood 0. Like I had said, John, a lot of their offense comes off of their transition. They do so well in transition.
Defense really does lead to offense. It's such a huge central part to this Panthers squad as Gaudet goes block to block, lays it up and in, and she's got a handful now. 25-14 with 3:20 left in the second.
You knew it was going to happen at some point. Washington out to a double-digit lead.
That's where it really starts to get dangerous. Glenwood has to find a response. Being outscored 7-4 here in the quarter as double teamed by Osborne and Becca McDougal results in a foul on Lane Matthew. Matthew not a huge score for Glenwood.
I believe Becca McDougal picked that up, which means that's her second, I believe.
And that would be her second. If it is on her, indeed it is. Redling Schaefer comes back in. Becca McDougal comes out. So Tibbs and Becca McDougal both with a pair of fouls.
The key here is that Becca McDougal sits out. Tibbs is still in the ball game.
Tibbs, again, being a guard, probably a little bit less prone to drawing fouls, but we'll see if I'll be really careful not to pick up a third as O'Brien 50-50 pass there and had a hard collision with Lane Matthew. Almost looks like a wide receiver and a cornerback colliding in midair going up for a pass.
You know, we've seen our fair share of Glenwood, Washington football games, and now this might be another rendition of one of those football games. No, it's just Washington's defense is so aggressive. They make so many plays on the defensive end. Sometimes they are just a step too late. That time, Matthew O'Brien was just a step too late for the steal.
We did see Washington play Glenwood in football 2 years ago. We went down to Glenwood for that game for live audio broadcast, and Washington won big in that one. Great season that year for their football team, going to the state semifinals as a layup up and good and one for Glenwood. That foul kind of came, or that whistle at least kind of came a bit late. I thought initially I was going to be on the floor. They're going to give the continuation to Newman, who's now got 7 and cuts the lead down to 25-16.
Well, I think Kim Barth was just looking at her coaches thinking that might have been a player control foul, and honestly, it could have honestly gone either way. I would have probably seen it as a player control foul as well, but Glenwood is now shooting an N1 opportunity.
Newman's free throw is good, 25-17. Washington leads, and they led 14-10 after 1. Glenwood did lead by 1 point in this game as Tibbs drives baseline. Floater's good with 2:35 left, and Tibbs already in double figures.
She's driving baseline almost every possession she has off of a set offense, and she's having so much success with it.
Bob, nice pass down to Matthew, who finishes off the baseline drive with a layup on the left side. It's 27-19. Washington in front with about 2 minutes and a dime left to go in the second quarter. This is about the same type of lead Washington had at halftime yesterday, as O'Brien is at the top of the key, guarded by Bob. Now she'll pass to Osborne in the corner, and we're going to get a timeout by Kim Barth in the Panthers bench here with 1:56 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, usually you get these timeouts in these situations because clearly the head coach doesn't like what he or she is seeing, and Kim Barth didn't like what she was seeing from her Panthers on the offensive side of the court. It really wasn't a lot going on offensive end. If you're passing the ball around the arc on a set offense, you can already kind of see as a fan even that there's not a whole lot going on, and they just need to get a little bit of a talking to.
Well, Michael, talking about the Washington coaching staff and their bench, obviously led by Kim Barth, about as good as it gets in terms of coaching in the area, but also on their bench too, a guy that I'm very curious to see if Washington's able to pull out this game. I'd love to hear his reaction. Dan Garski is the Washington boys golf coach, and Washington boys golf had a historic year. Again, part of another just amazing year for the Panthers, but they were so close to winning a state title, and they lost in a scorecard playoff, I believe, for the Class 2A state title. They were right there, so close, ended up getting second, lost out to Normal U-High. Can Dan Garski get a state championship here after being so close in 2 years in 2 different sports?
It's a story within a story. It's pretty awesome to hear.
Shot him up and good from Washington. Michael, that was
good day.
Good day. Puts it up and in. So it's about 29-19. Washington leads it. Back to a 10-point advantage. Here's Bob, and G'day almost came away with the steal there as Bob was looking to feed it to Newman.
Yeah, G'day was kind of pointing up to her head, kind of like that little gesture you make when you're thinking, okay, like I got to be smarter than that. Almost drew a foul there again.
Washington committed 4 fouls in the second, so one more. It'll put Glenwood at the stripe. Glenwood shot 6 free throws so far, made 5 of them. Washington shot 4 and made 3. Bob hands off to Newman around the elbow, finds a wide open Gummerman hanging out on the low block, and she lays it in.
You know, Newman, we've seen her size. Okay, we think, okay, 6'2", she probably scores a ton of points. She used her 6'2" frame there to reach over a Washington defender and make that pass.
O'Brien crosses over, trying to free herself up, passes to a cutting Osborne. She's in a tough spot on the baseline. Tries to feed O'Brien and bounce off the head of Bob. Now O'Brien drives baseline and scores with just under a minute to play in the first half.
And that was Mazzy O'Brien just doing stuff on her own. Osborne got in trouble with the ball on the corner. She almost turned the ball over, but O'Brien was able to use her ability to get to the basket.
31-21 is Washington's lead as Newman driving in. And just kind of, agilely hopping around in that lane, and she's got some good moves. And Panthers commit the foul. That's going to go on Tibbs. Michael, that's 3 on her. That's a huge development.
I could have sworn that the official had risen up a 1. Maybe I just missed a finger, but no one's batting an eye. I must have just missed the finger. That must, it's Avery. Kay McDougal's on the bench. I must have just been missing the finger there, but Tibbs has 3.
Very rarely do we see
then
Tibbs
she's not out. Well, I guess 38 seconds to go in the first half. That's a risk, though. I mean, 38 seconds isn't much time, but that is a risk.
You don't really see Tibbs get in foul trouble that much. We've seen Becca McDougal, Danny Gaudet foul out, sometimes maybe Mazzy O'Brien, but have not really seen Tibbs disqualify herself from a game. So 30 seconds left to go in the first half. Washington probably going to hold for the last shot. Tibbs dribbles around the beak of the ISU Redbird as, Gaudet, I look over, Gaudet and Lily Prain, 5'8" guard for for Glenwood, both hit the deck. And there's a big boo from the Washington
fans. You're saying
fans.
Big, it is like, whoa.
That was I didn't see it, but some sort of collision. Gaudet hit the ground first, and then as her hands were in the air, she had fallen to the ground. That knocked over Prain. Washington, I think, probably wanting a foul. They're going to call
a foul off the ball on the floor.
Offsetting fouls, one on Gaudet and Prain is what the official stats say. So 18 seconds. Washington still has the ball, though. Leads at 31-22. O'Brien kicks out to Becca McDougal, spinning, double teamed, shoots and scores! And one jumper on the little mid-range from Becca McDougal, and Danny Gaudet hops up from her seat on the bench, runs up the court, and gives her a little clap and says, "Let's go."
Yeah, that was a big basket there by Becca McDougal. Kind of an awkward play beforehand. Obviously, like we said, John, momentum shifting play if you think it is. But Becca McDougal says, no, we're still got the momentum, and we're still going to be up by double digits.
You saw McDougal's facial reaction there. She's kind of like, I don't even know how that go down, or I don't know. Didn't really mean to do that, but.
Well, Glenwood did a good job there, not allowing her to drive baseline and allowing her to go back into the heart of the court where the rest of the defense is. And not very often you see an N1 go that way. That's more of a lucky shot, honestly.
A couple of subs will come in for Washington's last 10 seconds. Donald in there, Osborne in there, Redling Schaefer in there. 34-22 after that three-point play. Becca McDougal, a very strong first half with 9 points, a rebound, and 2 assists as Glenwood has to go the length of the court here in 10.9. Here's Newman with it. Across the timeline with 6 with 5. Now down by the baseline. Tough angle. She stepped out. It's going to give Washington a chance now with 4.3 to go.
Man, easily Redling Schaefer had to breathe the biggest sigh of relief. She had her arms up right by the ref thinking that she might have committed a foul. The ref said, nope, out of bounds. It is your guys' basketball with 4.3 to go. Washington has to go the full length of the court.
Love the ball in Tibbs' hands right now if you're a Panthers fan. She's got unlimited range.
Good job there by Glenwood pressuring the basketball, making it really hard for Washington to get a shot off with 4.3.
McDougal and Tibbs in the backcourt. The inbound to Tibbs with 3 with 2. Tibbs passes to Osborne, and she doesn't get a shot off. Tibbs pointed up to the clock and said he had to shoot, and Osborne wasn't really quite looking up. So no shot, and Washington leads at 34-22 at halftime. Michael, they're halfway home to their season and lifelong goal.
Yeah, it's been a really good first half here from Washington. A really hard-playing Glenwood team has kept them within a striking distance are the Titans, but Washington still holds a double-digit lead, and they look destined to finally get that monkey off their back that they've been waiting for 365 days. They are poised for their first ever state championship.
Panthers led by 4 after 1. They lead by 12 after 2. A strong third quarter, Michael. Again, this is going to really, I think, determine the outcome of this game is how both teams come out in the third quarter, and I think this game might be won or lost in the next 8 minutes coming out of the halftime break, as we're going to get a quick break as the all-state teams are being honored right now. You see a couple Panthers out there, Avery Tibbs, Becca McDougall, Danny Goodday, all on the IBCA, the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association all-state teams. All 5 players, all 5 starters on Washington received some sort of honor from the IBCA. I believe Tibbs, Becca McDougall, and Goodday were all first-team selections. Mazzy O'Brien was a second team, I believe, and Kate McDougall was a special mention in just her freshman year. So congratulations to all those players. I even see a familiar face, Lexi Baer, out there from Peoria, Notre Dame. So good to see her out there as well.
Yeah, the first time she's been out here for Peoria Notre Dame, and she's not been playing in this tournament. So hopefully she gets back and healthy after her injury, and hopefully we see Peoria Notre Dame, back to the normal, what they've been pretty much on a regular basis the past few years.
Yeah, Baer going to play her college ball at Butler University. Had to miss the end of her season with hip surgery, and she had to have it sooner or later. She suffered it in a freak accident during an off-season camp with the Irish, and just had to do it at some point before she got to Butler. And unfortunately, the timing coincided to where she'd have to miss the final game or 2 of the regular season and the playoffs for P&D, who lost in the first round of the regional semifinals to a very good Dunlap team. But again, congratulations to all the All-Staters and lots of other All-Staters. Class 1A, 2A, Dalia DeJesus, first team shoo-in of DMAC, and she led the Chiefs to a state title over Mount Pulaski, 49-35, and Washington looking to make it 2 for Central Illinois here this afternoon. We're going to take a quick break, come right back, break down the first half, talk more hoops. Again, you're watching the 3A state title on ClutchSportsIsle.com alongside Michael Savoy. I'm Jonathan Michael. Stay tuned. Back in a few here from Normal.
The last class of the day for my student athletes isn't English, science, or math. It's school sports, where the #1 priority is teaching, just like every other classroom. As their coach, I help them grow as leaders and become better people, preparing them for the game and, more importantly, for life. That's why the best wins are the lessons they learn, which will impact them long after their playing days are over. Encourage your student to participate in school sports.
This message presented by the IHSA and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
Come on, Liam, let's go! Get open! Come on, go for it! Wake up! Wake up, Liam! Oh, come on, use your head! Gotta want it! Dominate!
There he goes again. Liam's dad yelling from the stands, trying to relive his glory days.
I know. We're just trying to have fun out here and play with our friends. It's not that deep.
He seriously needs to get a grip.
Does he really think he's helping Liam play better?
I feel bad for Liam. I know he's embarrassed his dad ruins every game like this. I mean, I would be too.
Someone needs to tell him this isn't about him.
Yeah, stop trying to coach from the stands and just cheer.
That's what Liam wants.
That's what we all want.
Be your student's biggest fan, not their biggest critic. This message presented by the IHSA and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
Game day in my house is everything. I get out of class, I grab my gear, and get to the game because I can't wait. And my dad, he does the same thing. He's an official here in Illinois. He makes the tough calls, stays cool under pressure, and knows ball like nobody else. I want to be just like him. You can too. Sign up at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back to Normal. Washington leading Glenwood 34-22 in the Class 3A state championship here on the campus of Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois. Jonathan Michael here alongside Michael Savoy. Michael, let's break down some first half stats. Second quarter for Washington, they actually tripled their lead, went from 4 to 12, and they shot 9 of 12 from the field in that second quarter.
Yeah, it's a good shooting wise for this in the first half for Washington, and really, honestly, it was more of the reason why they didn't pull away from St. Viator as early as they could have because they missed so many easy layups in the first game yesterday in their semifinal game. Now they're converting those shots, but now you're going up against a Glenwood team that, we just learned that their star player Newman didn't even play in the November game against the Panthers. So Glenwood's obviously a better team with her on the floor, and obviously they, like most teams in the state, get better throughout the season. So this is a way better Glenwood team that they're playing so far, and it's, once again, John, it's setting up to be a pretty good finish here in the state championship game. Even though Washington's up by 12, I wouldn't count out this Glenwood team.
Yeah, I think that Glenwood, again, going to have to try and get this down in single digits by the end of the third quarter. I think that's always a big key in trying to come back, especially when there is no shot clock. But again, with a 12-point lead, you can see a 12-point lead get whittled down to nearly nothing. You also see a 12-point lead extend to maybe a 20-point lead.
Yeah.
So this third quarter going to be very telling.
And I like what you said about the first 4 minutes of the third quarter being the deciding of this game, because Washington could very well just come out and just run the floor with Glenwood and jump out to another 10-0 run and really put this game out of hand in the first few minutes of the half. So, and also, I mean, the first 4 minutes could be dictated by Glenwood. The Titans could come out on their own little 8 to 10-0 run. So, and that would make things very interesting for Washington. It would make for even better finish of this game.
The shooting stats for both teams in the first half: Washington shooting 58% from the field, 14 of 24. Glenwood 42%, 8 for 19. Titans have not made a three. They've only shot one. Washington 2 of 9 from behind the stripe. Tibbs and O'Brien both have Washington's threes. Washington 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Glenwood 6 of 8 en route to this 34-22 Panthers lead. Again, the stat that continues to stand out, or the stats I should say, Washington just 1 turnover to Glenwood 7, and Washington leads the points off turnovers 19 to nothing. Glenwood, or 9 to nothing I should say. Glenwood leads the rebounding department 15 to 6. Right now they have 6 offensive rebounds, so that's probably the number one thing I'll just go off the score sheet that I think Washington needs to improve in the second half, is just prevent those second chance points for the Titans, who had 15 of those second chance points yesterday against River Forest Trinity.
We said it before, Washington has shot the ball very well, even better than they did last night against St. Viator, and they're out to this kind of a bigger lead, kind of not a bigger lead as they might have expected coming into this game at halftime, and really the main reasons, like you said, John, the rebounding department. 6 offensive rebounds for Glenwood. The stat off of that really is telling to me is the second chance points. You look at it, Glenwood has 6 second chance points. Washington has a big donut in second chance points. Obviously, they only have 1 offensive rebound, so they won't have much anyway, but it's 6 to nothing in the second chance points department. That's another 6 points for Glenwood that, the Titans would get off of those rebounds. So if Washington had not given up so many offensive rebounds, they'd be up to even bigger leads. So something that Washington has to clean up.
Teams have been tied one time. There's been 2 lead changes. The teams have only been tied for 3 seconds, and those 3 seconds was when it was 0-0. Washington scored right away. Tibbs on a layup, just wasting no time in that one. Glenwood did take a 7-6 lead back with 5:24 to go in the first quarter, but since then it has been Washington firmly in control again with this senior group that has 8 seniors. Again, Tibbs, Jenna Spezio, who stepped in for just a few seconds there at the end of the first half. Becca McDougal, Adrian Donald, Ainsley Redling Schaefer, Mazzy O'Brien, Danny Goday. And it'll be a great day if this group gets on the floor. Dia Iyer, the 8th senior for Washington, and I would say the captain of the Washington bench and their fan favorite as well. Everyone in Washington loves Dia Iyer.
Yeah, and Dia Iyer loves, the basketball program here in Washington. She's so involved in the school, and she's like, if you were if you went to any high school and you were to say, okay, tell me what a Washington Panther is, or tell me what I'll use an example. Tell me what a Chatham Titan, or tell me what a Glenwood Titan is. It'd be a girl or a guy like Dia Iyer who's so involved in the school, whether it's athletic programs, whether it's academics, whether it's extracurricular activities, just that kind of kid and that kind of student. You want to root for those types of people that succeed in life. And like you said, John, if she gets into the ball game, obviously you would know by then it'd be a Washington blowout or a Washington big lead. So obviously the Panther fans would already be happy, and they'd already be happy because if she makes a shot in this game, everyone goes crazy.
Indeed, they would. I got a little bit of playing time yesterday. Played about 2 minutes at the end of Washington's 55-34 win over St. Viator. Again, this is Washington's second ever game in the state championship game. Again, they lost the 1977 one. That was the first IHSA girls basketball state final ever played. They fell to Sterling 52-38 in that one. Our statistician, Joey Wright, helping pull that one up. Want to shout out him and all the rest of our Clutch Sports media crew. Sky Gillespie, Mark Wagner here as well. Garrett Oliver was here earlier today as well. So it has been a long, crazy, hectic, grueling week for us at Clutch Sports Media. Couldn't do it without the help of all of those guys.
And it doesn't end. I mean, next week you have the boys super sectionals, and then the weekend after you have obviously boys state. Then we'll probably have I'd say a safe bet would probably be 1 or 2 teams that play in the state series in Champaign next weekend. So it's not over yet, but it's definitely winding down as winter sports is coming to an end in baseball, softball, track and field, girls soccer. Spring sports are underway. Really, they're underway starting this week with softball and track and field, indoor track and field. So this is a very busy point of the year, and obviously working in a sports media company like Clutch Sports Media, it doesn't get any more hectic, but yet exciting to be a part of something special here in Central Illinois.
Glenwood also playing in their second state title game, and they were here much more recently, back in 2023, Michael. I don't know if you ever got to see part of Frobe Mania.
Yeah,
but Chloe Frobe and Lincoln, you're talking about a Central Illinois matchup. You had an interconference matchup when Lincoln played Glenwood, and Lincoln won that game 60-44. That was back in 2024, actually, just 2 years ago. So this Titans team has a few players that are, again, not here for the first time either.
Yeah, we remember watching Frobe, Chloe Frobe. Remember we did again Renaissance Coliseum that year when they had played PR Notre Dame. That was such a fun watch. The first time I've seen a high school girls game at Renaissance Coliseum. And that was, once again, just a very fun watch. And she's currently balling it up in Colorado State, and really no one's surprised. She's been a great basketball player pretty much her entire life.
Yeah, Frobe, a player that I think just almost everyone in the entire state, once they kind of saw her, you just had to root for her. She's just nothing you can do but respect her. And, even if you're going up against her, I think a lot of people said the same as well. And I think, there's a lot of people that think the same about, players like Avery Tibbs, Danny Gaudet, and Dalia DeJesus, again, state champion with DMAC. Earlier today, they take down Mount Pulaski 49-35. So there's a lot of some of those players that are just so good, and you can do nothing else but just respect them. And it's just crazy the amount of time that they put into their craft, their game. And a lot of those players are usually just phenomenal people, too, as well. And I know a lot of those players are role models for the next generation of girls basketball here in Central Illinois and also across the state.
Well, you talk about Glenwood's, their state runs in the past few years. They've probably gone against either the 2 best teams in the state of Illinois for 3A girls basketball, or in the conversation for 2 of the best teams in the state of Illinois. I mean, talking about going up against what people could maybe consider the best girls basketball player ever in the state of Illinois. Now that's a pretty hard mark, and there's also been very many girls basketball players in the state that have been very good. Talk about like Candace Parker and all those players back even
Tyra
in the
Buss
heyday.
from Mount Carmel. You ever heard of Tyra Buss?
I actually have not.
You better look her up in the record book. She has some untouchable scoring records.
But my point being is that Glenwood has obviously made it to state. You don't make it to state on accident. You have to be a very good team. But they have played some very, very, very tough teams.
They trail 34-22. Second half underway. Washington with the ball going right to left. And Panthers in their road black uniforms. Glenwood in their home white and red. O'Brien has the ball and tried to dribble in traffic. She ended up traveling.
Yeah, you said it, John, right before the first half ended. These first 4 minutes of the third quarter are going to be very telling of how the rest of this game is going to go. So far, so good for Glenwood as they start possession.
Bob to bring it down the floor for Glenwood. Bob using a note with the light blue shoes. Most of her teammates have other colored shoes, and Bob also travels. So call it even on both sides here to start the second half. 7:39 to go in the third.
Really, in the sense where we're starting the quarter, but we're just 21 seconds into it.
So Kate McDougal will bring it up. See, both her and Tibbs kind of carried the ball up the floor. A little bit of O'Brien, too. So a lot of different players can handle the ball for Washington. McDougal fires it over to O'Brien. Now it's over to Becca McDougal. Over to her sister now in the paint. Now Tibbs. O'Brien, top of the key. Back to Becca McDougal. How about the ball movement for Washington? Just hot potato. Ends with Tibbs' three. Off the mark. Fight for the rebound. Becca McDougal comes up with it. Pass to Gaudet. Her shot up and good from close range.
Maybe Becca McDougal doesn't fill up the score sheet as much as you may think she can, but she is the most valuable player for this Washington team, does everything.
36-22 is now quickly 36-24 in the blink of an eye. Glenwood comes down and scores with Ava Bob. So 12-point advantage. Becca McDougal's three from the corner is no good. That one would have made it a 15-point game. Bob driving in. Two Panthers there. Now back out to Newman. And getting her first crack at facing the Panthers. Wasn't there for their season opener. Miss pass, Stella Lopp. Airmailed Newman, who actually wasn't looking for it. Kay McDougal handing it off to Tibbs. 6:20 to go. 12-point lead by Washington. Gaudet drives in. There's a collision and a foul on the floor. Gonna go, and it looks like on Gemma Lamb. That would be 3 on one of Glenwood's 2 forwards.
Yeah, I don't think Glenwood would have liked to see that happen to one of probably their most valuable players right there in Lamb, and she's going to be taking a seat.
Lamb had 16 points yesterday, just 2 so far today for the 6-footer. Tibbs inbounds.
Oh, they're going to say it's they're not going to say it's tipped.
The far referee believes it's not a deflection. Kim Barth and the near referee believe it is a deflection, and they're going to go with the far ref. It's going to be Glenwood ball. So a turnover there by Washington.
Obviously, that's so hard for us to tell. It happened on the far side of the court. We couldn't see it at all.
No, really no view for us. So here's Glenwood, Bob, into Newman. 3 Panthers jerseys swarm her in the paint. Now it's back to her. This time now it's just Gaudet guarding her. Gaudet falls down, trying to draw the charge, not going to get it. Newman shot up and good. We get a whistle.
And we're going to get a flopping warning. So not only does he not draw the charge, but she gets a flopping warning on top of that.
That's a tough one for Gaudet. I mean, I don't think there was contact there. But again, it all happened so fast. So a flop warning on Gaudet. It's 36-26. Washington leads with 5:59 to go in the third. After that layup from Newman, she's up to 11 for Glenwood. Matching Tibbs on Washington. Here's Becca McDougal. Ack out to Tibbs. Tibbs driving in, absorbs a bump, passes it off to Kate McDougal. She drives in and is fouled with 5:42 to go, and she's going to shoot a pair.
A lot of dribble handoffs and a lot of driving to the basket. This Washington offense, just you know what they're going to do, but yeah, it's so hard to stop it. Just you got to give credit to not only the players on the court for the Panthers, but really the coaching staff. Coach Kim Barth has done a really good job with the offense.
We've seen Washington really try and work it inside a lot more. Again, this is a team that has really feasted on threes this season. And they've tried a couple, but haven't really had a ton so far at state. 2 for 11 today. Kate McDougal, a 66%er from the line, misses her first, knocks down her second. And it's an 11-point lead, 37-26 for Washington with 5:38 to go in the third. Going to get a timeout. And Glenwood want to talk things over here as they trail by 11. And Michael talked about the first 4 minutes of the third quarter, and so far it's been about a coin flip in the first 2.5.
Yeah, they always say basketball is a game of runs, and really there hasn't been much of a run by either team. Washington has probably maintained more of a 9 to 10 to 11-point lead pretty much since probably the later ends of the first quarter, and Glenwood has not really had much success on the defensive end relative to their offensive end. They just haven't been able to stop the Panthers, and really you can say the same thing about Washington, the fact they haven't been able to go out to that big lead that they're so accustomed to being out to.
Glenwood's head coach Alyssa Riley in her third season at Glenwood is 79-20. Her first 30-win season. Glenwood went 27-7 in her first year. That was the year they got second in the state. Went 22-9 last season. looking to win a 3A state title this year, but going to take a comeback effort. Riley also formerly at Warrensburg Latham for a few years. This Glenwood ball down by 11. Again, 5.5 to play here in quarter number 3. Bob and Newman have been the main ones for Glenwood so far today. Here's Stella Lopp. Haven't, again, called her name a ton. She tried to pass to Bob, had it stolen by G'day. 2-on-4 break, no numbers for Washington. Tibbs over to Kate McDougal. O'Brien, who fed it into Becca McDougal, and she was reached around by Lopp, and that's going to be a Titans foul.
That Danny G'day steal is impressive just for the size that she has.
3 fouls on Glenwood already in this third quarter, so Washington committed a few more in the first half, but cleaning it up in half number 2 as Tibbs receives the inbound. And Sea of Orange here in Normal. Plenty of Washington fans making the drive. Becca McDougal over to G'day. Pass across to Tibbs, who again passed up on the 3. And G'day kind of almost double kind of head fake, shot fake there, and that's kind of an awkward looking move and traveled there.
I couldn't quite see her feet move. I'm sure it did. The officials did call that for a reason, but sometimes you make those moves and it just looks so awkward, it just kind of screams travel to a referee.
11-point lead, 37-26, inside of 5 minutes. Newman with the ball, driving in on G'day. Layup off the left side and in. Newman starting to really feel it for Glenwood. She's been a big difference maker, and where would they be without her right now? 37-28, Washington lead. Becca McDougal drives in, too fast, smokes it. G'day gets the offensive rebound, and they're going to call G'day on the travel.
And Kim Barth is saying that
her way.
And Kim Barth is saying that she jump stopped. She didn't jump stop by any means, but I don't think she still traveled. It's an interesting call.
My eyes were elsewhere, but I didn't see one there. So we play on. Washington leads it still by 9, 37-28. And those need to lock in on defense. Here's Matthew. Her shot from close range was well defended. Ball on the deck. A Titan lays on top of it. Are we going to get a timeout or a jump? It's a jump. It favors Glenwood.
Yeah, I like the Glenwood offense, though. Avery Tibbs, I believe she has 3 fouls, right, John?
Yeah, she has 3.
They're attacking her on the offensive end and making sure that, she's the one that they're going to be attacking, because if she picks up her 4th with not even halfway to go in the third quarter, it's going to be really tough for Washington to keep her in the ball game.
Officials timeout with 4:05 left to go in the third. Washington 37, Glenwood 28. Michael, a quick note. One of Tibbs' fouls, her 3rd, I thought it was on G'day. Well, it turns out it was. There was a quick error on the official stats. They have since corrected that. Tibbs does not have 3 fouls. She has 2, but Danny G'day, they gave that foul to her, and she has 3 fouls now.
Every Panther who's on the floor right now has at least 2 fouls, so in medium foul trouble are most of the Panthers. Danny G'day is the only one that you can reasonably say that is in foul trouble with halfway to go here in the third quarter.
And if you're Glenwood, I think you have to realize that, again, is part of, I think, the coaching staff's job. They got to know, hey, this girl's got 2, they got 3. If we start tanking it in on them, which Glenwood has had a bit of success doing, they've been stopped a few times, but they've also scored a majority of their points in the paint. I think that you realize that you drive them in, you force a few of Washington's other players to come in, but again, the problem with that is Washington's just so deep with girls like Spezio, Donald, Redling, Schaefer, Osborne. That can give good minutes if any of their 5 starters get in any sort of foul trouble.
Glenwood's been driving into the basket more as the third quarter has transpired, and they've been taking it to the Panthers, and every time you do that, you don't always have to score to make it a good possession. Sometimes drawing that foul to make one of Washington's best players with 3 or 4 fouls and put them in serious foul trouble might be even better than just scoring the basket by itself. Obviously, the end one would be perfect for them, get the points, another chance for a basket with the foul included. But for them, it's about just putting the pressure on the Panthers, because Washington's been so. They're so experienced, and the majority of the games this season, they've been putting the pressure on teams. There's not been very many teams that put the pressure on them. You can probably say the losses, they probably have had teams put pressure on them, but for the most part, they put pressure on teams. So Glenwood would love to turn the tables on the Panthers.
Again, the first matchup of the season for both these teams was against each other, and it's just how storybook is it that they end the season against each other too. And I wonder if any of those teams or anyone really thought that this is, be a preview of the 3A state title game. Again, Washington won that matchup 67-25. We got 4:05 to go in the third, and Glenwood has already exceeded that point total. They got 38. Washington with 37, a bit of work to do to get up to 67, but I mean, they're an offense that can heat up quickly, although we haven't really seen them have a ton of success from deep. Kate McDougal, I should say, 0 for 1 from beyond the arc. Tibbs 1 for 3. Rebecca McDougal 0 for 2 behind the arc. O'Brien's 1 of 2 from behind the arc. G'day is 0 for 2, and Osborne 0 for 1. So kind of a new look Panthers team, kind of a real, grit and tough, team. Again, not to say that they weren't won beforehand. They can really win in any variety of ways. They can fly down the floor and run and gun and shoot threes. They can also kill you on the paint and be strong at the post, but they just, you really have kind of gone more towards the latter in both of their state semifinal and their state title game here today.
Yeah, like you said, John, they can win in very many different ways, and that's the hallmark of what a really good team does. They're not one-dimensional. It's not like they just shoot threes and they make threes and they beat you by the three-point ball. No, they can beat you by attacking the basket, being aggressive on the offensive end, being aggressive on the defensive end. Their size, they can get steals from their size. They have a little bit of everything, and that's what's made this Washington team so really difficult to just stay with, let alone beat.
Yes, again, all revolves around the defense that has led to 11 fast break points as Glenwood inbounds to Newman. Just too easy of a look right there. She was just wide open in the lane and drained it from about 8 feet. 37-30.
If I had to guess, that's probably their inbounds play for the majority of their baseline plays, because that 6'2 frame, it's going to be really hard to stop that inbounds play.
Yeah, that one easy to get into Newman as G'day on the drives past Newman. Too strong there. Tough minute or two stretch for Danny G'day, as now Glenwood a chance to cut this down to as little as 4. Bob drives in. She's fouled and gets it to go. Ava Bob could cut this down to 4 with 3:35 to go, and a bit of stunned looks on Washington's side.
Bob gets the rebound, and she takes it by herself, coast to coast. A nice spin move there for Bob, and able to draw the N1 opportunity. John, you were just saying the first 4 minutes of the half could dictate this game. Glenwood's last 4 minutes have dictated their ability to stay with the Panthers in this game. This should set up to be a great finish.
Don't go anywhere, folks. Washington hasn't quite run away with it yet. By no means are they out of the woods. 37-33 is their lead with 3.5 to go in the third quarter. This Panthers team, again, is so battle-tested. They've responded so many times. Can they do so again? Redling Schaefer throws it away, though, into the hands of Lane Matthew. Up to Newman, driving in left side. Too strong with a layup. Redling Schaefer, the rebound, reaching in for the jump ball.
Oh, they're going to get a foul.
On the Titans. So you're going to like that a lot if you're a Washington fan. The Titans thought they had a jump right there, but it would have favored Washington anyway.
Yeah, I was curious. I couldn't see the far side official until they cleared out. I was curious to see if that was going to be a foul. It looked like for a moment it was a foul, and they ultimately did call it, so good deal for Washington.
Newman really wanted that layup. That would have made it a one-score game. As Kate McDougal with the ball, drives it across, wide open lane, and she finishes. We've seen a couple Panthers, a couple players across just all the state games so far this week go too fast into the lane, go too hard off the glass, but not Kate McDougal, as she got that one to fall. It's 39-33 with 2:50 to play.
And how about the freshman stepping up in the big moment to cut the Glenwood momentum?
3 ball by Bob, no good. Another board by Redling Schaefer. So valuable off the bench. She is so underrated. Kate McDougal up to Tibbs. She drives baseline. There's Becca McDougal. She gets fouled on the floor. That's going to be, I think, 5 on Glenwood, Michael. That would send McDougal to the line for 2.
You can honestly admit that Avery Tibbs, although we know her for her three-point shooting, she has not shot the ball really a whole lot entirely, and she has not shot the ball too well from behind the arc in this state series. But honestly, you can make an argument that she's more valuable when she drives to the basket. She's such a good ball distributor. She drives the baseline there and finds Becca McDougal for her to draw the foul.
And this isn't the first time that I have said this on a Clutch Sports Media broadcast. In fact, I've probably said it close to 3 or 4 times. But Tibbs has grown so much from her freshman year, because her freshman year she was still a knockdown three-point shooter and just still so lethal. But she was kind of a spot-up shooter. Now she's a ball handler. She's a distributor. She can really absorb contact. Had multiple and ones the other night. As that was Lily Prain from Glenwood, shot a 3 and got fouled. I think this is going to be 3 free throws for the Titans there after Becca McDougal made her last free throw. So it's 40-33. Washington in front with 2:24 to go in the third quarter.
Kay McDougal, we just mentioned her as a freshman. She's made senior-like plays as a freshman. That time, that was more of a freshman mistake, fouling a three-point shooter. That's not what we want to see. Have Glenwood with 3 shots at the line with the clock stopped.
That is 3 fouls on Kate McDougal. Lily Prain, a 5'8" freshman guard, so freshman on freshman crime there, knocks down her first. Prain, a 57% free throw shooter, knocks it down there. She just looks really calm at the line, Michael, for a freshman.
Yeah, you can tell that, you said freshman and freshman crime. These are the futures of these 2 basketball programs, and the poise from these freshmen have just been outstanding. You don't see it very much with freshmen on varsity level teams.
Is it a little bit of a difference, too, from Saturday versus Friday? By Saturday, you're like, okay, we were here yesterday. This isn't the first time. But Prain goes 3 for 3. It's 40-36. All-out battle here in the 3A state title game. Kate McDougal drives to the left, kicks over to Tibbs. She's in the corner 3 area and gets a screen from Becca McDougal. Pass across court, Mazzy O'Brien. She drives, kicks. Back in the hands now of Tibbs. Patient possession here. G'day trying to post up just inside the free throw line.
Oh, no.
Oh, and the ball goes off of O'Brien. Mental mistake there, and that's going to be an over and back call. And Glenwood, you can hear their fans start to feel it, Michael. This is, again, a really key spot. 1:53 to go in the third quarter. Can Washington escape this frame with the lead?
It's felt like the last 4 minutes of this third quarter have all been Glenwood. The Titans have slowly but surely clawed their way back. They didn't lead this ball game. Last time they led this ball game, it was midway through the first quarter. And now they're looking like they can probably call their way back.
They've outscored the Panthers 14-6. Lamb shot in the lane, no good. Washington dodges a bullet there that looked like a high percentage shot, and Becca McDougal tried to feed it up to Tibbs in transition. Had a lot of traffic to go through. It went into the hands of Lamb. Glenwood shot, or that pass.
That was a pass that was knocked out of bounds by Washington.
So active hands there for the Panthers. Will have the Titans inbound in front of their own bench with 1:35 left in the third. 40-36, Washington with the lead. And I don't think Washington would tell you they've played their best game so far, but it's enough to at least keep them in front for the moment. And they dig deep. Newman, 3, that would have brought down the house. The rebound goes off of the hand of a Titan. Prain had great position, but it goes off of her hand on the box out, and back to Washington.
Man, Newman just wanted that three-pointer to fall. That would have just brought one side of the gym to a frenzy and another side of the gym to what just happened, but nonetheless, she misses the 3, and Washington's still up by 4.
Tibbs brings it up nice and slowly for Washington. McKendry Committee, such a calming presence. You want the ball in her hands right now. Kate McDougal driving in on the baseline. Now Redling Schaefer, Becca McDougal, Tibbs driving baseline, left side, and a charge! Wow. Stepping into position was Prain, the freshman, who leaps up into the air in celebration. How about the emotion from Prain and Tibbs? A nice move to get to the hoop and a nice baseline floater, but that is now her third foul. 58.5 to go in this third quarter, and Washington needs something to go right.
I was about to say her Lewis Lethal Luva is driving baseline. That would have been an and one if it was not a charge, but it was a charge.
That is a huge play as a 3-ball from Prain hits the top of the backboard but stays in bounds. Now they blow the whistle. They say, hey, come on back. Out of bounds play there. So
they might reset the clock. Probably not. No one's batting an eye to it. So we're going to still be at 45.6 to go here in the third quarter.
Washington's 12-point lead, 34-22 at halftime, has been cut down to 40-36. The Panthers have turned it over 8 times. in the third quarter and are 2 of 6 from the field here in this frame. Here's G'day in the paint, blocked by Newman. Turnaround shot from 10 feet was swatted by the 6'2" guard. And here goes Glenwood the other way. They have a chance to hold for the final shot. Newman has it at the top of the key. G'day a few feet back in defense. They'll go inside to Lamb, kick out. Now Lane Matthew, she loses the ball. Kate McDougal picks it up, and Lamb goes diving for it and knocks over McDougal like a bowling pin. And that's going to be an easy foul call with 12.6 to go in the third quarter. This game is all over the place, Michael. This is
John,
not going to be a nice and coast in on in fourth quarter. This is going to get pretty crazy.
John, I would have told you if I was Glenwood there, I would have definitely just held for the last shot. I understand you're down by 2 possessions. You might want to try to at least get one more shot to go and maybe try to get a steal off an inbound, maybe try to tie up the ball game. But right now you have all the momentum. Try to capitalize on it, put a cap on the third quarter with the last shot. But they try to hurry it up a little bit and they draw a foul, or Washington draws a foul, and they'll shoot 2 with the bonus.
It's Kate McDougal at the line. Knocks down the first, nothing but net there for Kate McDougal, and who has recruiting interest already as a freshman from the University of Illinois. Got to consult our Illini expert, Joey Wright. Is their Big Ten tournament run still alive, or have the Fighting Illini been knocked out?
They lost last night.
They lost last night to Iowa, unfortunately. As McDougal does go 2 for 2, so fortunately for the Panthers, back up to a 6-point lead.
Nora Gummerman for Glenwood has checked in for star player Alexis Newman, assuming it's just more of a rest sort of deal with 12.6 to go here in the third.
Newman getting some sort of cream applied to her, maybe a little bit of a floor rash there. Titans bring up the ball, down to 7, Bob with it, over to Prain. Panthers student section trying to fake out the Titans. Bob puts up a crazy 3. It's no good. Long rebound. Bounces into the scorer's table. That'll do it for the third. Washington's lead has been cut in half. 42-36, but 8 minutes to go for a 3A state title, Michael. Can the Panthers achieve the road to what felt like destiny?
It felt like it was going to be easy from the start of the playoffs till now, but it's been anything but easy so far. Glenwood has not let up a bit, in the Titans have made things very interesting here in Normal. Washington was meant to win the state championship game. Glenwood said, no, we're not letting you go that easy. It's a 2-possession game. It's 2 3-pointers from Glenwood ties up this ball game, and that could easily be achievable. Glenwood has had good looks from beyond the arc, and so has Washington, by the way, but yeah, it's just been a great basketball game. And, if you're a Washington Panther fan, you're thinking, okay, we had the lead, but, I'm so used to us being up by 30 to 20 points by the time the fourth quarter starts that, I don't feel maybe as comfortable as I've been in years past, but we still have the lead, and we still are 8 minutes away from a state championship.
Washington, though, again, they even though they're impressive record, they've blown out a lot of teams. They do have some close wins. We saw them against Dunlap. They were down by 8 going into the fourth quarter. Came back and won that game. Again, much different position here as they lead by 6 still, but Glenwood has the momentum entering the fourth quarter. Again, 42 Washington, 36 for Glenwood. Avery Tibbs stuck on 11 points for the Panthers, and again, go back to that. That was such a big play right there where that charge was drawn by the freshman on Glenwood, Lily Prain, because that prevented Tibbs from getting 2 and almost assuredly a third, given how good she is at the free throw line. And then Glenwood goes down on the other end, and I don't believe they were able to score. That takes away what could have been 3 more points for Washington, and maybe at that point, if you get it to go, you're looking at 45-36. Now you're, again, still technically a 2-possession game, but if you're the Panthers, my message, if I'm Kim Barth, and I'm certainly not, my knowledge nowhere near her level, but if I'm saying this, we did not come all this way. We did not do all this hard work, all these 5 a.m. trips to the gym. The 5 a.m. club has multiple girls that show up to the gym without even being asked. They want to do it themselves. They challenge themselves. They work so hard. And we didn't do all of that just to come here and get second. That's what everyone's been tunnel visioned for first place. And Washington's in position, has to finish out with 8 strong minutes to close it here on the floor at Doug Collins Court at CEFCU Arena. It'll be Panthers ball to start the fourth quarter. Tibbs will inbound to Kate McDougal. Michael, I think whoever drains the next 3 might win this game.
Too early for that, in my opinion. I do like what you're heading, though, especially if it's Washington, because they already do have that 6-point lead.
And at this point, any squad looking for a big bucket just to hear that big crowd pop here inside the cavernous CEFCU Arena. Panthers working it around. Here's O'Brien. Feed to Becca McDougal. 25 seconds going by in this fourth quarter. Kate McDougal waiting for a screen for her older sister, freshman to senior. Tibbs goes around 2 screens, picked up well by Bob. Over to Mazzy O'Brien. Becca McDougal, double team, tried to find Tibbs. Tibbs had it knocked away by Bob, and Newman had it, stepped out of bounds right in front of us. We had a great front row seat to it.
I tell you what, John, Glenwood's defense has been outstanding. Titans have let up some decent Washington runs, but really the second half has been all Titans on the defensive end, but Washington has had some good looks as well.
Tibbs puts it in bounds to Kate McDougal. And they trust her ball handling skills. Off to the right now, doubles back, go to the left, inside the paint, kick out Tibbs. Thought about a 3 again, did not pull it. He's been a little hesitant behind the arc. O'Brien drives in and it's blocked away. And they're gonna get a foul on Newman. Panthers love that call. That one started a split second afterwards. It might have been clean, but there was some contact there. And Mazzy O'Brien will shoot a pair. 6:58 to go. Again, trying to make this an 8-point lead.
This is why being an official is so difficult, because it might have been clean in real time, but you never really know for sure if you're an official, and you have to feel very confident about what you call as a referee. And obviously, they're the one that makes the decisions about that.
O'Brien knocked down the first free throw, up to 8 points on the day, and it'll stay that way off the attachment there. Titans the other direction, down 43-36. Newman over to Bob, nice pass down low to Lane Matthew, and they're gonna get Goudet on a foul. That's her 4th.
She's got 4 fouls, and Kim Barth is not looking towards her bench to get her out of the game. This is more risky than even having like 2. Oh, there we go. Ainsley Rutherling-Schaefer subbing in, we're assuming, for Becca McDougal.
No, for Goudet.
Or, excuse me, for Goudet.
Yeah, I mean, she could come in for Becca McDougal.
She could. But we were saying more so about the girl that has 4 fouls. I just kind of misspoke there.
Free throw is good by Lane Matthew. Cuts it down to a 6-point game, 43-37. And we're going to get a timeout call by Kim Barth and company with 6:47 to go. And still a 6-point game, right back where we started entering this frame.
If I had to guess, if I'm Glenwood, and might be a little risky if I'm the Titans, but they might come out and more, because now that Kim Barth has called this timeout, they might draw up a press off of this made free throw if Glenwood were to make it. Titans could cause some trouble for the Panthers. Really, Kim Barth is probably just drawing up a play for one of her guards to possibly get a 3-point shot off on their next offensive possession.
And Panthers getting a great game out of Glenwood, getting everything left in the tank for both of these squads here in the final 6:47. And it'll be Matthew to shoot another, try and cut this down to 5, and she does. Lane Matthew with 4 points. Glenwood very nice from the line, 11 for 13, 85%. Here's Tibbs with the ball, driving in on the right side. Just one-on-one, her on Matthews, but Matthews stays in front of her. O'Brien slices into the lane, her layup no good. A bit off balance there, and a backcourt foul on the Panthers. Aggressive D, I think they're gonna get O'Brien on a foul, but certainly not one that was necessary.
Yeah, when you foul in that situation, it's never necessary.
And that time, accidental there on O'Brien's part. I know they're going to get that on Redling-Schaefer. Redling-Schaefer just her 2nd. And as ball bounces out of bounds off of a Titan, they'll turn it back over to Washington with 6:17 to go in the 4th.
That might be looked at as just a turnover by Glenwood, but the fact that it happened after a Washington foul, with the game being so close, that's one of the biggest possessions of the game right there. And hopefully Washington can capitalize on it to even put a cap on that.
So here's Kate McDougal. Bringing it across again, 43-38. Washington has been in front ever since the midway point of the first quarter. It was a 12-point lead at halftime, has slimmed down since then. Glenwood's defense played really well. Becca McDougal finds a wide open Tibbs, her corner three, bingo! We've seen it so many times and we needed to see it there. If you're a Washington fan, back up to an 8-point game, 46-38. Bob, her three on the other end, off to the left, rebounded by Kate McDougal. Now the Panthers just kind of have that feeling of some mojo. Pass it to Tibbs, another three, bang! Avery Tibbs, the all-time leading scorer, puts Washington up by 11, 49-38 with 5.5 to go in the fourth.
The all-time leading scorer with an all-time sequence right there. 6 straight points from Avery Tibbs, 2 3-pointers, and all of a sudden, John, we're looking at a double-digit lead for Washington. It wasn't that long ago that it was a close Glenwood deficit. Now Glenwood's trailing by 11. Washington has all the momentum right now.
That's what makes this team so dangerous, Michael, and we know that. We've seen that so many times over the years with this squad and with these seniors. A small lead can become a big lead in the blink of an eye. You can compare it to like a flash flood. Just comes out of nowhere. Like almost like the rainstorm we drove in yesterday on the way back from to Peoria from Normal.
Yesterday was an all-time day for us, and speaking of all-time, like we've said before, an all-time sequence by Avery Tibbs. It's just insane how good she is with the basketball. She hasn't shot the ball too well for me on the arc here in the state playoffs, but those 2 consecutive 3-pointers really have just let Glenwood know, hey, maybe I'm not shot the ball the greatest here in the state playoffs, but, I'm still that dead-eye shooter from beyond the arc, and I can still hurt you in many different ways. What a sequence from Washington. The Panthers, all of a sudden, maybe their fans will feeling a little nervous. Now they're up to a double-digit lead, and now it feels way more comfortable. Washington 5 minutes and 34 seconds away from clinching its first ever girls basketball state championship.
They have been so close. Back in 1977, you'd be forgiven if maybe you don't remember that one. If you do, more credit to you, and this will make that one feel even sweeter. And I'm sure many do remember that third place run last year. The Panthers looking to go for first this year. Newman on the drive. Her layup, no good. Hung up on the rim, but offensive rebound by Glenwood. Back out to Newman beyond the arc. She's guarded by Tibbs. She kicks back out. Glenwood needs to find a big shot to respond. Newman, her layup is too strong. Titans active hands on the boards. O'Brien somehow has it up to Tibbs. Tibbs in the wide open court. She lays it in. 8 straight for Avery Tibbs. 51-38 Washington.
It feels like Glenwood really needs a basket here.
Titans need to score. This was just a 7-point game a while ago and a foul.
Oh, they're going to call blocking.
And Becca McDougal came tumbling to the ground, trying to draw a charge, shakes her head and smiles kind of jokingly, saying, no way.
Kim Barth wants the officials to talk about it. The first official that blew his whistle made more of a charging sound, and that would have absolutely blown the roof off. The fact that Avery Tibbs went on her scoring run and there's a charge with it, but now it's a blocking foul, and Kim Barth wants more of an explanation now. And that's a tough one for Washington for sure.
That would be. Oh, they're gonna get. Who is this foul on? I thought it was on. Becca McDougal. I believe that's.
And they are going to talk about it, right? Yeah. Yep. Officials are going to conversate about it.
I think it's too much time has elapsed by this point to turn the call over.
I think you're right. And I think he's going to say too much time has elapsed. We're not going to change that call. It's on Becca McDougal. Kim Barth is saying that they had reached out with the arm, and the arm was more outreached, and that's what caused Becca to fall.
Ainsley Redley-Schaefer is going to come in for Washington. She's going to check out for Mazzy O'Brien. That, according to our official stats, Michael, that foul on O'Brien was her 5th. So that might be it for her.
That foul was on Mazzy O'Brien.
I guess so. I thought it was on Becca McDougal, and we will assume it's on O'Brien and she is fouled out. At least we assume so until further notice. Redling Schaefer into the game. Glenwood missed a shot down on the other end. Panthers in full control right now with 4:20 to play, leading 51-38. A personal 8-0 run from Avery Tibbs has got this back up to double figures. Becca McDougal over to Kate. The present over to the future. Setting a screen. Glenwood switches on it. Kate McDougal out to Tibbs, pulls another three!
And Avery Tibbs has just been outstanding, an 11-0 run herself.
Newman drives in and gets fouled on the way up, but this is a 16-point lead for Washington, and who else but Avery Tibbs?
John, we were just talking about Glenwood possibly having a chance to take the lead. They were going really hot here in the start of the second half. They were about down as much as 5 points. Avery Tibbs says, lead, how about this, a 16-point deficit. I have an 11-0 run myself. Now it's 54-38 Washington, 3 minutes and 49 seconds away from a state championship.
Well, they're going to have to do it without a few of their key players because Danny Gaudet just picked up her 5th foul. So Gaudet and O'Brien are out for the Panthers, and their fans are booing about as loud as you could for being up 16 with 3:49 to go.
Like we said, John, they're so used to being up by so many points. Being up by 16 for them feels like being up by like 5 points for any other team. It just feels like that for Washington. They're so used to, being out to these giant leads and being so dominant. And they've been dominant so far here for the last probably 2 to 3 minutes of game action, but really it has not been as dominant as maybe fans would have liked them to have. And Glenwood's out of this game at all. I mean, maybe another Washington bucket or two can really put a hammer on the nail here, but Glenwood has shown resilience and they've shown fight, and I will not be surprised if they made things interesting here in Normal.
They have a large mountain to climb again, no shot clock, and again, Tibbs still eligible, Kate McDougal still eligible, and both McDougals and Tibbs. And I assume we're probably going to see Redling Schaefer and maybe Olivia Osborne, Adrian Donald, Jenna Spezio, one of those three on the floor for the Panthers with no Gaudet and no O'Brien out there. But, Michael, we saw teams that have depth usually, win these big games. We saw it last night with Morton and Kankakee, and that was a big difference in the Potters boys sectional title win. And I'm sure Kim Barth feels pretty confident even still putting Redling Schaefer and Osborne in off the bench here for this final 3:49 as Washington leads at 54-38.
Well, those girls that don't start are just as experienced as the seniors. They don't play as much, but they are just as experienced. So I wouldn't bet an eye if I'm a Washington fan with those girls in the ballgame. I would have just as much confidence in them as I would have in the starters.
Newman misses a free throw, and she has been really trying to bring Glenwood back. I mean, she's had the hot hand for the second half, but last few minutes has gone cold from the field, and she knocks down the second free throw. Newman up to 16 points, go with 6 rebounds. Tibbs with 22, 9 for 11 from the field for Avery Tibbs. A perfect 5 of 5 from inside the arc. Becca McDougal with the ball. Tries to drive inside, kicks it back out to Olivia Osborne. Panthers have no need to really get that close, but the driving, cutting layup is good by Ainsley Redling Schaefer at the right place in the right time. Her first bucket.
But we saw Becca McDougal turn the corner right by us, John, and I saw a look on her face. She was determined to make something happen by the basket, and she makes an easy 2 happen.
56-39. Fadeaway jumper, Newman, no good, and I think you can just kind of tell the gas kind of starting to run out of the tank for Glenwood as Washington 3 minutes away from a state title, leads at 56-39. Foul on the Titans. That will be their second of the fourth quarter.
Just reaching that time of the game that Washington is so accustomed to seeing from other teams. Just tiredness, worn out. Panthers taking full advantage of it now.
Going to get a timeout call by the Glenwood sideline. But Michael, 14-3 is the Washington advantage in the fourth quarter. And we kind of saw it again with a lot of games we saw yesterday. Just seems it's putting them away in the fourth. I mean, DMAC did it against Rockford Christian and just finished really, really strong. Washington was up by a decent amount going into the fourth quarter. But, I mean, really, you can see the teams that know how to finish are the ones that you see holding up the state titles, and Washington is just 2 minutes and 59 seconds away from doing so for the first time ever.
Yeah, teams that know how to finish are the teams that are usually the most experienced, and we saw that last night ourselves, John, in Ottawa with Moore and Kankakee. The teams that are the most experienced are the teams that know how to play the full 32 minutes.
And Panthers ball. Now it's Tibbs. Standing about near on the western Illinois side of the, again, state outline here on the court. McDougal blows by her defender, passes to Osborne. She wasn't quite ready for it, but maintains control. Now it's Kate McDougal beyond the arc. Down to 2:40. Tick, 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 tick. Ever so closer come the Panthers. Kate McDougal driving right hand layup, up and good. As if there was much doubt anymore, Kate McDougal might have just done it all, as that layup on the other end good from Ava Bob to respond. But 58-41, Michael. The Panthers ball in a monumental collapse will win the 3A state title, and their Panther fans and students' chance, I believe we will win. I have to say, I agree with them. Tibbs driving in, kick it out. Osborne not going to shoot. Doesn't care about getting in the scorebook. She just wants to get out of here and celebrate a state title. Kate McDougal with the ball, hands off, back out to Osborne. 1:40 to go, 100 seconds. The Panthers had a vision. They knew as soon as they fell short last year that they wanted nothing else to win it this year.
That's a good timeout there by Kim Barth. Washington could hold it for the rest of the time. We only have 91 seconds to go here in regulation. Washington up 58-41. The Panthers could hold it for the rest of the time. That being done is nearly impossible when it comes to varsity high school basketball. There's occasionally going to be a turnover or two in the possession, and you have to pass the ball obviously so many times to hold the ball for 91 seconds. They could technically do it, but as long as they hold the ball for at least another 10 to 15 seconds, I think they're going to be pretty comfortable with that offense possession.
And I think the main question I have right now, Michael, is who is going to be the five to walk off the floor? Are they going to have the super five? Well, not all of them, because Danny Gaudet and Mazzy O'Brien unfortunately have fouled out. And, both played really strong games. Both were so physical that you left it all on the floor. I don't think you can be that bad if they foul out of their last high school game. But, do you keep Tibbs and Becca McDougal, Adrian Donald, Ainsley Redling, Schaefer, Spezio out there? Do you bring in the bench players? Do you give each of your seniors a curtain call? I think that's really the only main question facing Washington right now, as they lead at 58-41 with 1 minute and 31 seconds to go here in normal.
We're going to have a pretty good answer about that, John, probably when there's like 30 or so seconds left to go. This game technically isn't over. We can look at a collapse here happening for Washington. It won't probably happen as much. Obviously, they have a lot of experience, but Glenwood, obviously, they're in the state title game. This is a pretty big moment for both teams. I mean, we could be looking at something, John.
You never know.
You're going to get a turnover, but it won't happen most likely.
Maybe a 1/1000th of a percent chance, as Kate McDougal was stripped there. If they came away with the steal, maybe you have to get up to a 1 in a 10,000 chance, but there was a foul there, so Kate McDougal will not shoot. That's just Glenwood's third. I'm just keeping the audience more interested in the time for now in the ball game. Obviously, they're still going to be watching because the state title is on the line, but Tibbs inbounds it to Becca McDougal, and she's going to get fouled. And that's now 4 fouls on Glenwood, and just playing a desperation game at this point. I mean, playing the foul game down 17. It's less about does the other team make those free throws, as can you score quickly enough to get 17 points in 1 minute and 22 seconds? He needs 6 threes to take the lead right now.
Well, obviously it goes unsaid that they need some luck.
And there's a foul. It's going to send Tibbs to the line for potentially the last time of her high school career. Player of the game, without a doubt today, as her personal 8-0 run took a 43-38 ball game into a 51-38 game. Tibbs with 22 points, 9 for 11 overall, and 4 of 6 from deep. First free throw, nothing but net.
This is the Avery Tibbs experience. Really good offensive player, but honestly, just a really good overall player. She's made it happen on both sides of the court, and she's done that pretty much her entire Washington career. And obviously, it's very poetic that she goes off for her best ever performance in a timely period in the state title game.
Tibbs goes 2 for 2. We're going to get some subs. Whistle on the other end, foul on the Panthers. We are going to see Jenna Spezio, Adrian Donald, and Dia Iyer arm in arm at the scorers table with 1:10 to go, ready to check in for the final time as Washington Panthers, and possibly for the last time in their competitive careers. Obviously, Tibbs, Becca McDougal, Mazzie O'Brien, G'day, all going to play at the next level, but again, not everyone does so. And for some players, this is it. Becca McDougal, Avery Tibbs, Kate McDougal all check out. I can't believe I'm seeing it, Michael. I mean, these players have been cornerstones, absolute cornerstones of Washington Panther basketball for the last 4 years, and we have just seen them take or leave the court for the final time. And they will do so as state champions, as that free throw is no good. Kate McDougal will be back, though. Again, she's just a freshman. Layup no good by Glenwood. Going to go out of bounds and stay with the Titans. It's 60-41. Washington in front. For those of you keeping score at home, now we just get to see if maybe Dia Iyer gets to score. Michael, we have seen her score in the senior night win over Morton, and that time Tori Jim went absolutely ballistic. I cannot imagine how loud it will be if she makes a shot here in the last 102.
There's a lot of orange here still, John. Obviously, it's a big moment, and their Panthers are going to be winning the state championship, but this arena is going to be shaking if it does come to be.
Titans with the ball now inside of a minute. Titans trying to get some late bucket, playing for some pride. Is Donald going to foul a Titan going up? So, and that's because there's a 19-point advantage and 52 seconds left. Doesn't mean that these players aren't going to be closing this one out by playing hard. So
that's probably what I was leading towards when it came to me saying that Glenwood could make this more of a game. Obviously now with the 19-point deficit, it could be 18 after this free throw. Could have probably jinxed it. No, buries it. 18-point deficit for Glenwood now.
Emma Guernsey knocks down the free throw. And Michael, we are going to have two state champions from Central Illinois, two state champions from the same county, a hoops hotbed in Illinois, Tazewell County, Central Illinois. One of the best, if not the best. I think you can strongly make the case that there is no better place for girls hoops in the entire land of Lincoln than Central Illinois. It just was proven true here today as Olivia Osborne gets fouled by Glenwood. And this might turn into a free throw fest. Michael might have to put a pause on the celebration. There's going to be obviously, certainly no champagne going to be wheeled into the locker rooms, but if there was, they could take their time, putting the little tarp up to protect everything. But obviously, again, not the case. But they're going to make everyone wait for the celebration here in Normal as Osborne misses the first free throw. And the second one also too strong. And we're across half court. Guernsey, 38 seconds. She drives in for the layup. No good. Offensive rebound. Stella Lopp can't get it to go. Man, tough day for Lopp with no points, 1 rebound, 2 fouls as a Glenwood starter. Pass in Guernsey, and she is fouled by Donald with 31.4. I think by this point, the Panthers fans are getting a little restless.
I think Kim Bartha's laughing about whatever transpired with her. I think it was probably Donald who had committed the foul. At this point, honestly, for her as a coach and for her to, have the success with Washington, sometimes, some best situations in a game is just to laugh about it, especially now that, you're 31 seconds away from a state championship. Sometimes you just got to let off the gas a little bit in your mind.
Oh, let the players do what they want to do. They've given so much, done so much for the program. If Adrian Donald wants to foul, I'm sure Kim Bartha said, you know what, go ahead and foul. Play aggressive to your heart's content. Under 30 seconds to play, and Washington leads at 60-45. Iyer with the ball. She's going to pass it, and it's a turnover into the hands of Emma Guernsey. Down inside of 20 seconds. Goes up with it, loses control. Here's Donald with it. Can they get in the ball in the hands of Iyer? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Iyer shot. Oh, it comes up short, but it doesn't matter. Washington closes out the storybook season as state champions in Class 3A. 60-45, your final in Normal. 49 years in the making. The Panthers have done it. This senior class has done it. It was all worth it for this Panthers squad. The tears, the heartbreak, the early mornings, the late nights, everything ends in this. And Michael, I think we are with most of Central Illinois in saying, we told you so. I think we could have all predicted that 1 year ago.
One of the most dominant basketball teams anyone has really ever seen in the Central Illinois era, really just an entire state. What a run it's been for Washington. The fact that they've had to go against the state's best to even make it to Normal, and yet they've blown the doors off of most of the teams they played the entire season, only suffered 2 losses, 30-plus wins on the season. It's absolutely outstanding how dominant they've been so far in this season, and cap it off with the state's ultimate prize, a 3A state championship.
Unbelievable. It was a little bit in doubt for a bit in the second half. The Panthers had to dig deep, but Michael, I don't think they would have wanted to do it any other way. I mean, this team can say, sometimes it looks easy, but they don't like it easy. They like to do things the hard way. They like to challenge themselves and really, truly earn it. And they do so today with a 15-point victory over Chatham Glenwood for the Class 3A state title. Avery Tibbs, 24 points, 9 of 11 from the field, 3 rebounds in her final high school game before going to McKendree. And Michael, if she stays all 4 years at McKendree, I think you're talking about her number possibly hanging for the rafters up there in Lebanon.
No, you're talking about her number possibly hanging up in the rafters in Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, she's such a special basketball player, and honestly, this is why we love basketball. 32 minutes, but there was only 2 minutes of that ball game that really told you, hey, this team's winning this ball game. Washington's Avery Tibbs went on an 11-0 run and really just took the life out of Glenwood. The Titans are right there. They're down by 5. It looked like they had all the momentum going into the fourth quarter and a little bit even into the fourth quarter, but Avery Tibbs, she hadn't shot the ball too well in the state series. She's been more of a ball distributor. She shot the ball decently well, but she's not that three-point shooter in this state series that we've been accustomed to seeing. But she knocks down 2 or 3 big three-pointers in that sequence to really put Washington up ahead, and they really just ran the table from there. It was a comfortable win for the Panthers after that, and they are leaving Normal on top of 3A as state champions. One of the best basketball teams I can remember seeing in girls basketball.
You hit the nail on the head, Michael. In terms of girls basketball, and maybe you even include the boys in there too, in terms of high school teams, and in the short time I've been in Central Illinois, about half a decade or so, we've seen some great teams over the years, Metamora boys and North Richwood's Normal Community boys, the P&D girls. There was something different about this Washington team. I mean, perhaps it was the seniors, perhaps it was just the way that they dominated, the way they just played basketball. There was something different about this team that made them so fun to follow and so fun to cover. It's been a true joy from, day one with this team, and seeing these new freshmen come in a few years ago. From day one of this season, well, not day one, we saw them at the TOC. That was a weekend of the season, but that sold-out gym taking down Waukee Northwest and all the big wins and everything in between. The State Farm Holiday Classic title as well, and the many other broadcasting games that we've covered. This is, I think, a team that not just myself, but everyone involved in Clutch Sports Media has some sort of memory of, everyone knows who these players are, and, they truly have made their impact felt everywhere in Central Illinois, and they win at 60-45. Becca McDougal, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, a great game. Great game for Becca McDougal, who, again, not going to always light it up on the scoreboard, but, in terms of doing everything, that's almost as good as it gets. Mazzy O'Brien has 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting. Danny Gaudet with 9. Both those players grabbed a rebound and fouled out, giving it their all here today for the Panthers. Kate McDougall, the future for Washington, going to be her team for the next 3 years. Scores 7 points and 2 rebounds with 4 assists today, nearly a double-double yesterday. The future is so bright for her. Ainsley Redling-Schaefer, the last Panther to score, 2 points, made her only shot as well, and just about everyone saw the floor for the Panthers. Alexis Newman, 16, Ava Bob, 13 for Glenwood, whose season comes to an end at 30-5. The Panthers finish at 35-2. Michael, it's just, I don't know what else to say. It is,
well,
not going to say all over. Again, there's going to be Washington girls basketball next year, but I mean, this game is the end of a absolutely phenomenal era that will live forever in the basketball history.
This would have been a fantastic documentary. You started a documentary from their state finals loss last year, and you went through the days of the early mornings and the hard practices and the tough schedule, the tough teams you had to play, the playoff run, and the seniors from the state finals loss last year, their motivation toward this year. I would definitely watch it. I mean, everyone in Central Illinois would have definitely tuned in to watch that. It's just a fantastic story, and honestly, I'm so glad it ended on the throne of Class 3A. In the town of Washington, there's so much orange in this gym. It's unbelievable how much orange there is in this gym. The Panthers are on top of Class 3A.
They will get their medals now at the stand at center court, and I mean, just what a year it has been for Washington athletics in general. The football team get undefeated conference champs again, making a deep playoff run. Their boys soccer team again went all the way to the state title and got second. Their boys golf team, again coached by Dan Garski, stepping up on the stage right now. Got second place, lost in a scorecard playoff on the links, but Garski, the assistant coach for Washington girls basketball, gets his state championship with the Panthers girls basketball team as well. And I mean, again, just a phenomenal school, phenomenal town, phenomenal program Washington is. And this town is truly deserved. I don't know when the celebration will ever end, Michael. I mean, this is going to keep on going, I'm sure, for a couple days. I mean, this is going to be a period that they hope will never, ever end.
Well, I mean, we talked about it before, Johnny. We had athletic director Joe Alsett on yesterday as well. Washington as a school this year has been outstanding with their athletics. You already touched on their golf program, earning second in state. They've had playoff runs galore, and they've had a lot to celebrate, but this obviously trumps them all as state champions, girls basketball program. It's been so long awaited, and finally the Panthers are sitting as the best team in Class 3, and most likely I would put my money on being the best team in the state this year.
I think you can make that case. If there was a kind of a King of the Hill tournament, you get the 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A state champion. It doesn't matter, in my mind, who wins that Class 4A state championship again, which is, gotta see who's playing in that one. I think it's Nazareth Academy versus Loyola Academy. I'm picking Washington either way. This team, I think, was the best in the state, regardless of class each year, or all year, I should say. And again, end the year as the Class 3A state champions. Dia Iyer rounds out the Panthers medalists. They all have that big old IHSA medal around their neck that they will, I'm sure, never, ever get rid of. Well, Michael, it's been a fantastic girls basketball season. DMAC wins the Class 1A state title. Washington in Class 3A. Yeah, obviously a lot of other teams that made deep runs, were so talented and so good, just bowed out because the area has been so competitive. You had teams like Tri-Valley, like Morton, like Pure Notre Dame, like Dunlap, and in the Big 12, and Richwoods, and all those teams as the Panthers get their state trophy and hoist it high on the floor at CEFCU Arena and team the celebration. It has been a phenomenal year for girls hoops. One more week left of boys hoops. We've got 4 teams playing the Super Sectionals on Monday. Tremont in 1A, Manual in 2A, Morton in Class 3A, Richwoods in Class 4A. It's going to be a fun final week, and we'll be all over the place covering them. We can follow us again on social media, Clutch Sports Media, Facebook and Instagram, Clutch Sports IL on Twitter. Follow us again on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. Subscribe today for all of our written coverage. We'll have our free story coming out here today. Joey Wright will have the full recap from this great Panthers win on their suit on ClutchSports.com. In fact, you might even be able to read his instant story. Might be even up right now on our website. I want to shout out him and all the rest of our crew for all of their hard work and a crazy week for high school hoops. Could not do it without them. But Michael, I think that's about all I've got. I'm exhausted. We see what we needed to see, and we saw what we expected to see. The Panthers, state champions.
Yeah, I echo every sentiment you said, John, and it was a great girls basketball season in its entirety from 1A to 4A. You're talking about some great basketball in the Central Illinois area, and obviously not every team can make it this state in our area, but the teams that did make it all the way to normal have left as champions, and you want it no other way in the towns that these schools are from, and really for us here at Clutch Sports Media. It's been a fantastic ride. We have boys basketball next weekend, and we'll get to that when the time comes, and that should be great as well in Champaign.
The Panthers' dream has come true, and that will do it for the IHSA girls basketball season for us at Clutch Sports Media. And for Michael Savoy, my fantastic broadcast partner, Sky Gillespie behind our camera shooting some photos today. You'll see him soon. Joey Wright, our writer, and Mark Wagner also here helping us out. More coverage coming from his way as well. I'm Jonathan Michael saying so long and good night from Normal. 60-45 Washington. 3A state champions, and boy does it feel good for Panther Nation. We'll talk to you soon. Once again on ClutchSportsIsle.com. Have a great rest of your weekend, folks.